This dip is going to be the star of your party, guaranteed. That's the greatest dip I've ever made in my life. So as the title showed, this is a creamy roasted garlic dip, so we're going to need some garlic. Also some cream cheese. Get that out right at the beginning, coming up to room temperature. You want it soft and malleable. But then we're going to cut the heads off of these garlic cloves. I'm going to cook 4. You may only need 3, but you're going to taste it as you cook it and see if you want to add a little more or not. Also, make sure you're cutting all the way down to the clove. You don't want any of them still fully wrapped up. And once you do that, we're going to throw these on tin foil. We're going to hit them with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, some salt, some pepper, and then we're going to throw these into an oven to cook off at about 350, 375 degrees for an hour to an hour and a half until they're nice and golden brown. Check them every 15 to 20 minutes. If they look too dry, just hit them with a little extra oil. But this is what you want to see. This, for me, was right around an hour and 20 minutes. They're nice, they're golden brown, but they're not burnt. That's what you're looking for. Now put these off to the side, and we're going to start to assemble the rest. You want to let that garlic cool down for about 15 minutes. My cream cheese was a little hard, so I kind of just flattened it out to make mixing a little easier. Now we're going to add some mozzarella. This is going to be about 3/4 of a pound. I also have some of that cheddar left over from those potato bites. I'm going to throw that in too. You do not need to do that. You could also add in anything else you want. What I love about this, though, is the green onions. This is 3 or 4 full green onions chopped up. I'm going to start with about half of them. Salt, pepper, to give this a little bit of a kick. Also, don't drop it into your bowl. But this is just Trader Joe's spicy onion garlic seasoning. It is delicious. And then we're going to add half a cup of mayo. Use whatever brand you like, but I think Mike's is the best. And now we're going to squeeze those garlic cloves in. They should come out like butter. If they're not nice and soft, you need to cook them more. I put the 3 cloves in to start. We're going to mix it up, and then I'm going to taste for seasoning. If I think it could use more garlic, I'll add it. If you don't think it does, don't add it in. I'm going to throw in a little more of that green onion. That green onion is a huge flavor profile of this dip, so really don't be skimpy on the green onion. But now I'm going to taste it and see what it can use. Definitely was willing to have more garlic in it, so we threw it in there. I'm going to give it a little more salt and the rest of those green onions. Mix that all together. Taste it. If you're happy with that, now we're ready to bake this off. So throw it into a baking dish. You want to go about halfway up. You don't want to overfill it. It will bubble up a little bit, but try to get it as flat as you can. And then we're going to cover this up with a little bit more of that mozzarella cheese. You don't need to go super heavy, but just a light coating to get brown on the top. And then I'm also going to top this with a little bit of parm. Some people put parm right into the dip. I think that gets a little bit too salty at that point, but if you want to do that, go right ahead. Now we're going to throw this into the oven, still at 375 for about 15 to 20 minutes. That's what we're looking for right there. Got a little burnt around the edges, but that's totally fine. Those pieces will be delicious. And now we're going to let this sit out for about 15 minutes to cool, and then you can dive in. All right, so here we have the final product. As you can see, it got a little crispy around the outside, but that's totally fine. I'm totally happy with that. It cooks kind of from the outside in the oven for some reason. So you just want to wait till you start to get a little browning there on the center. You're totally good, but the most important part is, what does this taste like? That's the greatest dip I've ever made in my life. Holy cow. It's so cheesy, but not in an overpowering way. The green onion really cuts through. The garlic is mellow and really kind of sweet and delicious because you cooked it for so low and slow. I don't know how to describe this other than it's absolutely phenomenal. You should absolutely make this for the Super Bowl. It's so easy. You don't need a lot of ingredients. It's not going to sell out like some of the frozen entrees and appetizers will. Give this a try.